What if Anakin mastered Force healing? Let's start this story in the early days of Anakin's training. Skywalker wasn't a typical youngling. He had a master, Obi-Wan, when he first joined the Order, but also spent a large portion of his time with other younglings of his age. Through this, he spent his time meditating, lightsaber combat, and Force training from different masters. But in one early lesson, Anakin stood out. During one of their Force lessons, the task was healing. This was done early on to see if any younglings had a talent for the rare skill, and Anakin displayed this early on. They traveled to a local vet to see if any of the students could heal wounds from any of the injured animals. Rig Nema, the master taking the lesson, was amazed when she saw Anakin successfully heal a near fatal wound from a porg. She instantly reported this to the Jedi Council. They knew Skywalker's strength in the Force was strong, but to also have the talent for Force healing was unprecedented. From here on, they permitted Anakin to have one-on-one lessons with Master Nema, learning the intricacies of Force healing between his time with Obi-Wan and classes with the other younglings. Over the following years, Master Nema mentored Skywalker in the ancient art of Force healing. Nema was instantly surprised how strong Anakin's connection was for the rare ability, and his affinity to channel the living Force into mending anatomical tissue was strong. Each year deepens his understanding, first learning to close surface wounds, then to stabilize internal trauma, and eventually to cleanse infections and restore damaged organs without medical treatment. Unlike others she had trained, Anakin's progress was non-linear, marked by bursts of brilliance. By age 15, Anakin had surpassed even her most advanced students, not just healing flesh, but able to restore vitality itself. With this, Anakin was often called in alongside other Jedi for specific healing tasks that could not be done by one Jedi alone. His raw connection to the Force made his Force healing unique and more potent than the other healers. During the rest of his training on missions with Obi-Wan, he utilized this ability often, even healing wounds that his master had possessed. However, the time would come when Anakin most needed the ability. When he was 19, he started having nightmares of his mother, dreams that she was in danger and needed his help. He puts these off until he reaches a certain threshold and ventures to Tatooine to meet with the Lars family, who told Anakin Shmi had been missing for over a month. Anakin left straight away, determined to find his mother. And he did. In the midst of a Tusken Raider camp, clasping to life, Anakin started to work right away, using the Force to heal her wounds, fight off the infection that was in her blood, and restore Shmi's vitality. He carried her over his shoulder, back to his speeder where they traveled back to the Lars farm. In this timeline, because Shmi never dies, Anakin never slaughters the Tusken Raiders. As they arrive back at the moisture farm, the Lars are ecstatic to see that Shmi has survived. They spent the evening together, Klieg thanking Anakin immensely for saving his wife. Anakin couldn't put his joy into words. Seeing his mother happy and not a slave after all this time was all he had ever wanted. Shortly after, they're called to Geonosis, but after the war begins, Padme travels back to Tatooine. After a long discussion with Anakin, Padme has agreed to fund the Lars' migration to Naboo, and Shmi and Klieg of course agreed. Padme set them up with accommodation and jobs right outside the main city of Theed, and Anakin couldn't be more happy with this. The day they arrived was the wedding of Anakin and Padme, and Shmi cried tears of joy seeing the strong man her son had become. After the Clone Wars began, the galaxy was thrusted into chaos. Early on in the war, Anakin trusted Obi-Wan with the knowledge that Shmi was alive, and did this because he trusted Obi-Wan, but also knew he would find out eventually because after every mission, Anakin would sneak off to go and see her. When he didn't see her in person, they were on call a lot through the hollow net, especially when Anakin was on long drawn-out missions. Shmi helped to guide him and support Anakin during this time away at war. She encouraged him, reminding him of who he was and the good he was doing for the people of the galaxy. Her presence is a safe escape from the reality of war. She couldn't be more proud of him. Having his mother in his life only motivated Anakin more than anything to end the war. He sometimes considered leaving the Order to be with her full time, but he had too many responsibilities to Ahsoka and ultimately the galaxy, and Shmi encouraged him not to do this. As Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship grew, he brought her to Naboo to meet his mother. Anakin sees Ahsoka as a younger sister and genuinely part of his family. He introduces her to Shmi and they get along greatly. She became a quiet mentor figure to the young Togruta, providing the warmth and guidance that the Jedi Order often lacked. Ahsoka initially raised some concerns to Anakin about this, but after he revealed the tragic nature of his childhood, she started to understand why Anakin needed his mother in his life and would stand by him. As the Clone Wars raged on, Anakin's mastery of Force healing reached unprecedented heights. His skills became legendary, saving countless clones and Jedi alike. Soldiers who would have been lost to fatal wounds now fought another day thanks to his intervention. One of the most remarkable feats came during the mission of Lola Seyu, where Jedi Master Even Peel was mortally wounded in the original timeline, but this time he clung on to life after a savage encounter with one of the Citadel's defenses. Anakin, channeling the living force with unparalleled intensity, not only stabilizes Peel's critical injuries, but also reverses the damage entirely. Tales of Skywalker's miracles spread throughout the ranks of the Jedi Order. However, as his power grew, the Council started to feel uneasy. Windu raised his concerns first, believing that Anakin's Force healing was stronger than any Jedi in history, and thought that to do so, Anakin was tapping into the dark side of the Force. To restore life so completely, it skirts too close to the dark side. Yoda starts to think, and says that maybe Skywalker's abilities are unnatural. Ki-Adi followed next, stating the question is not how he does it, but why it comes so easily to him. Other healers expend great energy to mend wounds, yet Anakin does so with little strain. Could this truly be the light side, or something else? Silence encompasses the room as Windu spoke firm, saying they must consider the possibility that Skywalker's ability are not purely of the light. The dark side offers power over life and death. If Skywalker is tapping into the dark side even unknowingly, they must act before it's too late. The Council's suspicion of Anakin continued to rise. However, Palpatine, who had been observing everything, decided it was time to implement his own plan. He had discovered Anakin had saved his mother and brought her to Naboo, and decided to use this attachment of Anakin's to his advantage. Through Palpatine's various contacts and loyalists, he had information anonymously sent through to the Jedi Council, proof showing that Shmi Skywalker, Anakin's mother, was alive on Naboo and he had been visiting her between missions. Once this news reached them, Windu stated that it all made sense. Anakin's attachment to his mother must be the secret behind his power. His fear of loss, greed, and the dark side thrives on such emotions. Ki-Adi folded his arms, stating that his healing abilities don't just come from detachment or balance, but from desperation. He cannot bear to lose those he loves, so he bends the Force itself to keep them alive. This is not the way of the Jedi. The Council discusses further, Agen Kola even suggesting that this could all be a Sith plot, but ultimately, they decide to investigate Shmi to see if there are any clues to the truth surrounding her. Jedi Master Quinlan Vos is sent to Naboo in secret, but Palpatine is already 2 steps ahead, using his informant Sate Pistage to plant clues around Shmi that will pull the Jedi to the conclusion that he wants. The investigation was thorough. He started in the financial archives of Naboo's central bank, which uncovered an unsettling detail: substantial anonymous donations routed through the banking guild originating from Sereno. His instincts flared. Sereno meant Dooku. Breaking into Shmi's home under the cover of night, Vos discovered a protocol droid, its design too refined from a simple moisture farmer. A quick scan revealed its origin, manufactured on Sereno and delivered to Naboo the same week Shmi arrived. And then, buried deep in its memory code, a hidden hollow message. The flickering blue image of Count Dooku materialized, smiling. He thanks Shmi for her cooperations, stating her son's future is of great interest to them all. The message cut out, leaving Vos in stunned silence. He transmitted his findings to the Jedi Council immediately. The following day, Anakin was summoned to the Jedi Temple, and when he entered, he found himself surrounded by grim faces. Windu started, telling him they know about his mother, and more importantly, they know about Sereno. Anakin's blood turns to ice, asking what they're talking about. He knew the day would come when the Jedi found out about Shmi, and he didn't expect it to be this soon, and he had no idea what they were talking about with Sereno. Kiadi activated a hollow projector, and Dooku's message played aloud for everyone to hear. Windu demanded he explain this, why he hid his mother, why is she receiving funds from Sereno, and why is Dooku thanking her? Anakin's fist clenched, proclaiming that it's impossible that his mother has nothing to do with Dooku. But Shakti tells him the evidence is undeniable, and they fear Anakin has been influenced by him, that maybe Dooku has been teaching Anakin about the Force. Anakin can't believe it, can't believe they think he's working with the Sith after everything he's done for the Jedi, for the Republic. His breathing started to grow ragged. They didn't just doubt him, they accused him of treason and betrayal. Anakin tells him the truth, that he kept Shmi hidden for personal reasons, that he had to get her off Tatooine since the Jedi never did, reminding them that she was a slave they left to rot. But he wholeheartedly denies the link between him, his mother, and Dooku. The council look at each other wary, and Windu proclaims they will be detaining Shmi for interrogation to discover the truth of all of this, and find out whether in fact she is a Sith pawn. He goes on to say that Anakin is extremely powerful, and it's not unreasonable to believe Shmi may also be powerful and potentially a Sith. Anakin stood there stunned, but there was nothing he could do. A transport was bringing Shmi to Coruscant, however, before it could arrive, the ship was attacked by the Separatists and Shmi was captured and taken. The council believe from this that Dooku is saving Shmi, where in truth this is all Palpatine's plan. Anakin rushed to the council straight away, demanding that they find his mother, and that he led the campaign to find her. But Windu told him that it's impossible, and that he is not to leave the Jedi Temple under any circumstances due to ongoing investigations. Anakin knew he wasn't going to win here, but instead of staying in the temple, he went to find his mentor, Palpatine. The Chancellor sympathizes with Anakin, telling him the Jedi let this happen. They feared his power, and this fear led them to doing something irrational in arresting Shmi. But he promises Anakin that he will do everything he can to find her, and tells him to have a good night's rest. The next day, Anakin returned, asking for any updates, and Palpatine told Anakin his forces were unable to find her, but he has another way, a way that will involve him using his power, but a power beyond which the Jedi have allowed him to learn. Anakin questions this, and the Chancellor's expression darkened. He tells Anakin that the dark side holds secrets the Jedi fear. One of them is the ability to locate those we seek, no matter how hidden they are. He tells Anakin he can teach him this, but only if he trusts him. The thought of Shmi overrode anything in Anakin's brain, and asked Palpatine to show him. He tells Anakin that the Jedi never told him the full nature of the Force. They sought to limit him because they fear him, but he will show him. Anakin's breath caught as the realization struck him. The Chancellor's presence in the Force surged out of nowhere. He had stopped concealing it, and Anakin realized the truth about Palpatine. But he did not oppose it, and nor did Palpatine deny it. As he told Anakin he is the only one who can help him now, that together they will find his mother. They meditated in the dark side together, their minds reaching out to the currents of the Force in the depth of the dark side. Images flashed before them, a jungle world, twisted trees, a forgotten temple. Shmi was on Umbara. Palpatine told Anakin Dooku must have taken her there, and together they will save her. Together they went to Palpatine's ship. Although Palpatine had just revealed a lifelong secret, Anakin's trust in him strengthened, as he was the only one willing to help him in his time of most desperation. But as Anakin jumped into his seat, Palpatine sent a secret command to Dooku, a message ordering him to eliminate Shmi Skywalker, and by the time Anakin arrived, it would be too late. Palpatine and Anakin arrived together on Umbara, broke into the hidden temple, and what Anakin saw broke him to the core. Dooku standing over Shmi's body. He screamed out in pain, as Palpatine told him they would take him together. Together they ignited their blades and rushed at Dooku, who ignited his own in response. The fight began and Dooku was confused. Why was Palpatine attacking him here with the intent to kill him? As the fight went on, he realized his master was betraying him to turn Anakin to the dark side. The fight didn't last long. Palpatine coached Anakin through it, guiding him to use the strength from his anger and desire for revenge until he successfully cut down Dooku, avenging his mother. He rushes over to Shmi and reaches out with the Force, attempting to heal her fatal wounds, but it was too late. She was already dead. He wept as Palpatine placed a hand on his shoulder. He proclaimed this was the Jedi's fault. If they had only trusted Anakin, then this would have never happened. He could feel Anakin's anger rising. He had tapped into the dark side, and now there was no going back. He tells Skywalker he can teach him the true nature of the Force. He can become his apprentice, and together, they can get their revenge on the Jedi. Anakin agrees, and Palpatine dubs him Darth Vader. They head back to Coruscant immediately, and instead of landing near the Senate building, they land outside the Jedi Temple. As they do this, Palpatine executes Order 66, and Jedi begin perishing around the entire galaxy. Together, they rush the temple. The guards had barely any time to react before the first blaster bolt cuts them down. Vader led the charge against his former comrades. Some recognized him in their final moments. He slaughtered them all as he achieved his revenge. They had taken their mother from him. At the heart of the temple, Yoda stood waiting. The Grand Master sensed the disturbance in the Force, but not even he could stand against the combined might of Vader and Sidious, as the Sith crushed him and extinguished the light from him. Following this was victory in their sights. The rest of the council perishes either at the temple or around the galaxy. Anakin had planned to capture Ahsoka and Obi-Wan to try and show them the truth of the Jedi. But since they were both at the temple, this was hard to achieve, and Palpatine had specifically ordered a group of elite clone squads to find and kill them, wanting to remove any ties Anakin had to the light. Following the sack of the temple, they go to the Senate, and together they declare that the Jedi Order attempted to take over the Republic, right as Anakin, their star hero of the Clone Wars, had defeated Count Dooku, ensuring the war was ended. But their tyranny will not be seen again, and to ensure a safe power transition, the Republic was converted into the First Galactic Empire. After the session concluded, Anakin went to his home, searching for Padme. He expected her to understand the necessity of what he had done. The Jedi had taken everything from him, but he had stood by the Emperor's side, bringing order to the galaxy at last. But Padme did not rush into his arms. She stood there frozen, her face pale with horror. She asked how he could do this, her voice trembling with disbelief. He states he did what he had to. The Jedi were corrupt. They took his mother from him and would have destroyed everything. Palpatine screamed that he slaughtered them all, children, masters who taught him and trusted him, and that he had joined the Sith. But Anakin's jaw tightened, stating Palpatine saved him when the Jedi turned against him. He gave him real power to protect what matters. But Padme shook her head, telling him his mother would cry if she saw this, that he dishonored her memory and everything she believed in. Something dark twisted in Anakin's chest. How could she say this? Padme shook her head, stepping back, telling Anakin she won't be part of it, that she's leaving. The words ignited something feral in him. His hand shot out, clamping around her wrist, telling Padme she's not going anywhere. She demanded he let her go, but Anakin called for the guards and Padme was taken to her own private jail cell inside the new Imperial offices. The first night Padme was there, she couldn't believe everything had gone so wrong. She thought of Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, her friends in the Jedi Order, and Shmi, her mother-in-law. What would she think? Padme placed her hand on her stomach, yet to tell Anakin about the twins growing in her belly, but her resolve remained, determined to save Anakin from Palpatine and bring him back to the light for their family. If you enjoyed this video, you have to watch What If Kit Fisto Trained Anakin, or What If Padme Never Went to Mustafar. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.